a website where women from anywhere in the world can just record their experiences of daily sexism, from the apparently minor incidents that we're taught to brush off or ignore, like catcalls in the street, to street harassment, to workplace discrimination, all the way up to more serious instances of sexual assault and even rape. And I started it because I had a really bad week around a year ago where I experienced several different forms of sexism. In one week, there were some guys shouting at me out of cars as I walked down the street one evening, and then I was on the bus just a couple of nights later and a guy started stroking my leg. And because these things happen in close proximity, it made me realize that the impact that they had and how serious they were. But it really struck me that actually, if they hadn't happened in the same week, any one of those things just would have been quite normal and I really wouldn't have reacted to them. And I started thinking about all the things that I hadn't mentioned, all the ways that I'd changed my own behavior over the years when these things happened. So I started trying to talk about this issue, and I found that again and again I was told, actually no, sexism isn't an issue anymore, women are equal now, it's not something that you should be making a fuss about, you're overreacting. And I didn't see how we could begin to tackle it if people didn't even accept that it existed. So I decided to start the website to put all these women's stories in one place so that at least people would be forced to acknowledge the sheer scale of the problem. The thing that's always shocked me and still continues to do has always been the entries that we receive from very, very young girls. More so than I ever could have anticipated, really. It's something that I just didn't think would happen until it did. And I was just absolutely overwhelmed by how many of these girls were at school, in school uniform when these things were happening. We've had reports from girls as young as 11 in the street, in their school uniform, with men in vans asking them about their pussies, whether they have a tight pussy. And the girl that wrote this said at that age, I didn't even know what they meant. For some time now, there's been a problem with a real proliferation of violently misogynistic content on Facebook. And I think it's really important to say we're not talking about sexist jokes or humour, we're talking about serious depictions of women beaten, bloodied, battered, bruised, with captions like "next time don't get pregnant," or incitement to rape, or suggestions that women deserve to be raped or beaten. And whilst Facebook already actively moderates the content it allows on the site and has a very clear ban on particular types of prejudice like anti-Semitic content, it didn't seem before this to accept that these types of images and groups constituted a form of gender hate speech. So all we were calling on Facebook to do very specifically was to bring their ideas about gender and the way that they moderated content that included violence against women and rape into line with the way that they already treated other forms of prejudice. And I think we were hopeful of success because I think we realised what enormous public passion there was behind this and how many tens of thousands of women really cared and were very frustrated about it. But also we were wary because we knew that Facebook had never responded. We knew there'd been petitions and campaigns and lobby groups in the past. We knew that it was incredibly rare for Facebook, if ever. I don't know if it's ever responded in this way before. So we're absolutely thrilled with the response because it's very specific. It specifically addresses the exact issues that we asked them to in our open letter. They've committed to every single measure that we specifically asked them to take to change their policies around gender hate speech, particularly pertaining to violence against women, and specifically to retrain their moderators to be aware of and remove the content. So we're really over the moon.